right? And when we started talking about this, right away, what came to mind was, and I know you remember who this is.
Oh, here we go.
Larry Kornfeld.
Oh, Lord.
Larry Kornfeld was our dramatic. Alive? Yes.
Okay.
He is.
God bless you, Larry Kornfeld.
Yeah, he's on Facebook.
He's like 90 on Facebook. God bless him.
He is.
Good for him.
Bananas. But he was our dramatic studies teacher in college. We went to conservatory acting, and he actually was one of the directors of the Pioneer Living Theater in New York. I mean, he if you look at certain playbooks and all that kind of stuff, you'll see he's one of the original directors. It'll always say Larry Kornfeld in the back right there. So he's fancy, he's impressive, all those things, but we got him when he was a little older. But one of the gems that he gave us when in school was the bathtub.
Oh, I don't remember that.
He did give you guys the bathtub?
I got to be honest. He directed a play that I wasn't the lead in. So I would go to the gym all the time, and I left because I had no part. And then that's where I met my ex at the time.
Oh,
so
fair,
yeah,
Superman, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then I didn't pay attention to Larry Kornfeld. But no, tell me about the bath.
Fair. Did he teach you guys dramatic studies?
No.
Or was he on a hiatus?
I think he was on hiatus. But I had him for the play barely. But
all right. Well, let me tell you about Larry. Because we had Larry, and there's a lot to be said about him, but I'm going to talk about the bathtub and what the bathtub is for every, and this is in context of acting and creating your process and where you want to, every character that you're developing and you're trying to be and stuff like that. When you're figuring it out, they don't just walk on stage and then they magically do what they're doing and what's written. They have to come from someplace, and that's your bathtub. Did they have, and you can fill that in. How do you fill that in? Was it a bad day? Was it a bad morning? Was it let's do a famous Cat in a Hot Tin Roof. Okay. That is a wonderful play.
Tennessee Williams.
Yeah, Tennessee Williams. Holla.
Liz Taylor did the movie.
Yes,
check
Elizabeth
it out.
Taylor,
It's very good. Paul Newman.
Hot Paul Newman. And but one of the things, the gist of that is that it's a Southern, wealthy landowning family, and he is a depressed, kind of has been football player because he got hurt, and he's depressed about it, and so he's drinking too much. And the wife, Elizabeth Taylor, wants to be pregnant and fix their marriage and all this stuff, and all the drama.
Isn't he gay too?
No.
Okay. That was
yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Sorry.
That Tennessee Williams.
Yeah, he wanted everyone to be gay because he was gay.
Yeah. But that's her bathtub, right? But when you first see the scene, she is there. She's all dressed up. She's playing nice with her husband, but there's all this subtext. There's all this other stuff happening that you eventually learn about when you watch the film or you read the play or you watch the play. But that's her bathtub. She wants to get pregnant. They're not getting along. They're not having any intimacy. He sleeps on the couch. She sleeps in the bed. You know what I mean? She's trying to hide all that information from the rest of the house. That's your bathtub. So when you apply something like that to everyday life, this morning, one of my cats escaped last night. I'm really anxious and worried and concerned about it. And I'm just hoping, because she's the smartest of the cats, that she'll find her way back and her head will just pop in the window and we'll let her in. Yeah. And I know it kind of comes along with having a cat. Anywho. But that's
affects your energy.
Yeah. And so today that's part of what, this morning is before we're doing our podcast. So I'm concerned, the baby slept menza last night. And so he's, a little fuss, but he's adorable. And you know what I mean? But that's my bathtub right now. House is a bit messy, which is perpetual with kids. So
yeah.
But it is what it is. It's better than other days. So there I am. But that's what I'm bringing here. But I'm not kind of, it's not affecting.
How have you learned to balance that? Because all of this could. So I know a lot of people that like things like this, even just your cat alone, like hopefully it'll come back, but you don't know. You could go to worst case scenario, which affects your energy because you're in your head all the time thinking about the worst case scenario.
Your brain is someplace else, right?
So you could have canceled us filming this today.
Sure.
You know, you could have been like, I can't do it.
I got to search for my cat. Yeah.
Right. Or anything. Didn't have good sleep and making excuses. So how do you balance that with your energy? Do you know, have you learned to compartmentalize it? Kind of like the bathtub. Do you just throw some stuff on the side and say, I don't want the rubber duck in my bathtub right now. I'll bring it back in later. Like,
yeah, it's a little bit of all of that, right? You do, as you get older, learn how to compartmentalize. That's just life. But then also, I started meditating, you know, a couple years ago, and that's really truly helped me to kind of, I mean, in therapy, they call it detachment. And you just and by that, they mean you can step away and kind of look at it from an outside perspective. So you're not just consumed. You can kind of help yourself to see the forest from the trees, you know. Doesn't mean I'm less anxious or whatever, but I'm not as reactive. I'm more responsive, which is a more positive way to
That's a
deal
huge
with
one.
stuff, right?
Responsive, not reactive.
Yeah, that's better vocabulary. So doesn't mean I'm not thinking about her or gonna have plans to deal with that, but it's just a matter of, you know, how you deal with life. Yeah, exactly. Imagine if I still had to go to work, you know, go to, when you have to do things, you have to just, when they say leave it at the door, leave your stuff at the door because you have to do this. I mean, you have to find ways of doing that. And what I do is, meditation has really helped me.
That's a good one.
What do you do?
I do not meditate. My husband asks me to meditate every single day. He's like, you really should try. There's different things. He's like, you should try.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was funny because we talked in, like, there's an episode we're answering questions about like cleaning is my meditation. Like sometimes he's like, you're wrapped up in your intensity right here. And I'm like, but it's good. I leave everybody alone, but I have to clean. I have to make things. I have to have some productivity that like is outside of my head.
Oh, yeah.
That really helps my energy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,